What is this Twilight Zone era we live in right now? So Nintendo Direct happened yesterday, September 23rd, 2021. I had already made plans for that day, so I couldn't tune in live, but I did watch it after the fact, and some stuff's happened. I'll get to Chris Pratt in a bit, but overall I'd say this was actually a really solid Nintendo showcase. This was actually pretty good, some really neat announcements, and we finally got to see some games we have been waiting to see. So I'd like to go through the Nintendo Direct in the order of things that they announced and relay my personal opinions on the stuff that they showed, starting with the new Monster Hunter expansion, Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, which has this really like gothic vibe to it. It's dark and moody with a big red moon in the back. It's super interesting. Now, I love Monster Hunter Rise. I've played that game quite extensively, so any new additions to that title, new monsters, new areas, you name it, I am all for. And this seems to be a pretty major expansion. They kept emphasizing it's a massive expansion, like literally right here, massive expansion, and it's coming summer of 2022, which really goes to highlight there's a lot of work being put into this, and the content additions will likely be pretty substantial, so I'm excited. They then showed off Mario Party Superstars, and what's neat about this is that they're going to bring back boards from the N64 games, which is certainly very nostalgic. Friendships will once again be tested and broken, shattered into a million pieces, as Mario Party tends to do, but yeah, bringing those maps into the modern era with updated graphics and the updated engine is pretty neat. Looking forward to having less friends. Now this right here came out of the blue, a card game by none other than Yoko Taro, and you can already hear it in the music. Yoko Taro, for those who don't know, is the mastermind behind the Dragonlord and Nier series, which have become especially beloved today after the release of Nier Automata, which is just a fantastic game. His games have never been great on the gameplay department, but once he partnered up with Platinum for Automata, you know, now we had the Yoko Taro crazy and emotional and heart-wrenching storytelling combined with the excellent action gameplay, and now he's going into this card game direction. I'm curious to see what the gameplay is like and how fun the actual card game is. With Yoko Taro involved, this has certainly piqued a lot of interest, and it's gained quite a bit of fanfare. The definitive version of Disco Elysium, the final cut, is making it to Switch. Maybe I'll play it on Switch and finish it there. I started it and got halfway, had a great time, just got busy and then fell out of it, and now I feel like I have to restart the game to get caught up with the story again. And so seeing it come on Switch, that is a potential option right there to have this game constantly with me, whether I'm at home or on the go. We then have the Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity expansion pass. I've never been super into Musou games, so this isn't necessarily something that I'm super pumped about, but I know plenty of people who've enjoyed the Hyrule Warriors series in particular, and more content for that, I guess, is always welcome. This was then followed up by the unexpected announcement of a Final Fantasy kart racer. Here it is, called Chocobo GP. Now, there have been Chocobo racing games in the past. I believe, if I recall, on PlayStation 1, there was a Chocobo racing game. So this seems to be like a successor to that of some sort. But yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory. It looks kind of neat, honestly. It could be really fun. It's straight up just Mario Kart, but Final Fantasy themed, or, you know, Sonic Racer and stuff like that. It's within that vein. I'm down to try it out. We then have an announcement for an announcement. Sakurai will be presenting the final Super Smash Bros. Ultimate character on October 5th, 2021. So that's like a week and a half from now. I have no idea who this final character is gonna be. Some people are hoping for, like, Doomslayer, because Bethesda and Nintendo seem to have partnered closely this generation, but honestly, who knows? Just as long as it's not another Fire Emblem sword-wielding character, please, God no. I would expect this, given it is the final one, the big finale, to be a third-party character. It's just a matter of which one. Alright, now this I am super pumped for. This is a post-apocalyptic Kirby game. The Last of Him, the Kirby of Us, whatever you want to call it, like overgrown cityscapes and everything. It's super bizarre, but what's really fascinating about this is that it's an open world Kirby game. And what I love about this trailer is the way they present that. You see initially Kirby just side-scrolling before he enters the Z-axis. Like, you look at this and you think, oh, maybe this is like a cinematic shot of this game, Kirby and the Forgotten Land. That's neat. But then this next shot, Kirby's walking horizontally, and then he enters into the Z-axis, and suddenly there's that realization of, oh, this is a very different kind of Kirby game. It's, you know, it's a full-fledged, not just a 2D side-scroller, but a full 3D action-adventure platformer in this post-apocalyptic setting, and you see a lot of familiar elements from previous Kirby games. This is an interesting mode of transport, and, of course, Kirby's ability to just suck anything up and swallow it or spit it out, but when he does swallow, he indeed does retain his ability to steal enemies' powers, and just the gameplay possibilities of this and the kinds of level design that can be brought about. It looks like they're giving Kirby the Mario Odyssey treatment, and this is exciting. I feel like Kirby has kind of stagnated a little bit. It's gone a little stale and just hasn't been in the limelight as much, despite the series having gained quite a few new games over the past couple of years, but this kind of like refresh that retains the spirit of what Kirby is, but just expands it and evolves it a little bit. I think that's exactly what Kirby needed to rekindle some hype surrounding the series. Spring 2022. Not that far off. Then we have another announcement, 4 announcements, Animal Crossing Direct happening on October. Now, they did show a little teaser showing that the Roost and Brewster will make a return, which is a fan favorite amongst Animal Crossing players, and it'll be interesting to see how the character will be implemented in the content updates that Animal Crossing will be getting. Then came a string of smaller announcements. You got a new update for Mario Golf Super Rush. There's this new Disney game where you go in there as a Mii. You've got Dying Light 2 Cloud Edition coming for Switch, meaning that it's not going to run natively. Got another glimpse at Triangle Strategy. It was a code name, but much like Octopath Traveler, they just kept the code name. It's just Triangle Strategy. Looks super neat. Love this art style that combines 3D environments with pixel art, and I'm excited to find out more about this. We got another look at Metroid Dread, which comes out in like 2 weeks on October 8th alongside the Switch OLED. Finally, a sequel to Fusion and a proper side-scrolling Metroidvania Metroid, which just looks incredible. Yeah, this is one that I'm gonna get on day one and play the shit out of. Fans have been waiting for the next entry in the Metroid timeline for a while, and after the little fanfare that Other M got, this seems like a return to form. Yeah, it just looks awesome. It looks smooth. The gameplay, the cutscenes, the aesthetic. Something else people have been waiting for is an update to the Virtual Console games on Switch Online, and Nintendo finally introduced Nintendo 64 games, and we're talking some pretty prominent games, some of the best games that came out on that console. Also unexpected is that Sega Genesis Virtual Console is coming to Nintendo Switch. Oh, how the times have changed. We went from Sega does what Nintendo don't to Sega on Nintendo consoles. It's super bizarre, but hey, most welcome. These are also some pretty prominent games that people will be happy to see. They're also going to add new games as we go along as time passes. Future planned releases include Majora's Mask, Mario Golf, Pokemon Snap, among others, F-Zero X, Kirby, etc. They've also announced new controllers for Switch, wireless controllers for N64 and Sega Genesis. Yup, the fork is back, folks. Scalpers are no doubt gonna snatch up many of these, so you might want to get on this stuff if you hope to get one, but I certainly hope to be able to snag one of the N64 controllers. I'm just feeling nostalgic, I guess. But the Sega Genesis controller making a comeback is kind of neat too. It's there for those who are into that as well. Now, it's worth keeping in mind that as part of the introduction of N64 and Sega Genesis games, Nintendo is also introducing a new membership plan launching in late October. On the website, there's talk of Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack membership. So to get these benefits, you likely will have to pay more. As for how much more, well, that remains to be seen, but hopefully Nintendo will keep it reasonable. Now, as a fan of cyberpunk games and as someone who's played the tabletop RPG Shadowrun, it was really neat to see that the Shadowrun trilogy would be making its way to Switch. I'm actually gonna look forward to play this one. The Castlevania Advance Collection coming to Switch was also a neat surprise. There are games in the series within this collection that I haven't played, so this is a collection that I'll certainly be interested in. Now, this is one that I personally don't know about, but this is an old classic from the SNES days, Actralser Renaissance, that there's some fanfare around. There are some people who are pretty pumped to see this game return. Again, I don't know about it, but it's just like 2D side-scroller Metroidvania action game, but it has a variety of components to it. Like, it's got like strategic bird's eye view gameplay and then the more action-oriented stuff. Looks super interesting. And for those who are curious about this game's already out. It came out the day that this Nintendo Direct was hosted. Deltarune is seeing the launch of its second chapters on Switch. I'm waiting for all of the parts to be out before I just binge through Deltarune. And then after a montage of a number of other titles that have been announced that are coming out later this year or beyond, came the part that brought about confusion and laughter and bafflement. Shigeru Miyamoto showed up out of the blue to talk about a new Mario movie that Nintendo is working on with Illumination. It'll be out in theaters on holiday of 2022. And then Miyamoto came out and decided to announce the cast, but it wasn't what people expected.
First, of course, is Mario.
This, So, yeah, Chris Pratt is playing Mario. Already plenty of memes out and about on the internet, like Chris Pratt doing the Jurassic World whoa 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 dinosaur stay back thing with Yoshi's photoshopped in, and the like. Okay, so the thing is, they didn't show anything about the movie, no screenshot. We don't know what the style is, what the direction's gonna be. It is an animated movie, though. The question that everyone is asking is, why isn't Charles Martinet, the guy who's been playing Mario for like 3 decades, just playing the character? Not ruling out the possibility that Chris Pratt might do a pretty good Mario voice and impression, but why get an impression when you've got the real deal? Still alive and kicking and still voicing Mario in Mario games and doing a damn good job at it. They did acknowledge Charles Martinet, but he's been relegated to voicing special cameos, whatever that means, but not the character whose personality was established because of Charles Martinet's performance. And I've seen some people say, well, you know, he's always just had a couple of quips for Mario. You know, does he want to do a full movie's worth of Mario dialogue? This guy's a bona fide actor. He's been on TV shows and movies, and he's voice acted on more than Mario. He was freaking Parthenax in Skyrim. This guy can act. But they went with Chris Pratt. You know why? Because Chris Pratt is a known name among the masses. Hollywood does what Hollywood does and go with a Hollywood cast instead of, you know, showing voice actors the same level of consideration and acknowledging their talent. It's just marketing is what it is. Again, maybe Chris Pratt will do a pretty good job. He has done voice acting before. He played the protagonist in the Lego movie, and I thought he did a pretty good job there. And maybe he can do a pretty good Mario voice that's suited for the direction that this movie will take. It is an animated movie, though. I imagine Mario's gonna look much like the same Mario we have seen in video games. Charles Martinet should have just played Mario, but this is where we're at. I'm just confused, but it is what it is. We'll see how it goes. Oh, but it doesn't stop there. As for the rest of the cast, it's quite something. We got Anya Taylor-Joy, who did a fantastic job in Queen's Gambit, as Princess Peach. I don't know what kind of voice she's gonna put on for Peach, but I guess I can kind of see it. And then Charlie Day as Luigi. This I gotta hear. Yeah, it's Charlie Day as Luigi. That's it. That's all I gotta say about that. What more can I say about this? Charlie Day's at least got the Death Stare look down, so that's something. We then got Keegan-Michael Key as Toad. Curious how much he'll try to match the voice of Toad that we know from Mario games, that loud and obnoxious, throaty, high-pitched, screamy voice. Is that what he's gonna do? Is he gonna put his own spin on it? Who knows? But sure. Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. In some ways, it's kind of perfect. In other ways, just, I mean, you can't help but laugh at at just something so wild and bizarre. But it's happening. Oh, it's happening. And then, of course, Jack Black as Bowser, which honestly, I can kind of see that one. I can definitely picture this one being kind of interesting and kind of good. But it's just the oddest and most unexpected mix of cast members for this animated Mario movie. And I won't judge until we see a trailer and we get to hear some of their performances and see the style and direction of this animated film. But, man, this made waves across the internet for all kinds of reasons. Though marketing-wise, it achieved what it set out to do. It drew a whole lot of attention, but I still think Hollywood did Charles Martinet dirty. I think he should be the one to play Mario and cast everyone else as all these other A-listers or whatever. But as far as Mario goes, Charles Martinet is Mario, and given the medium, the fact that this is an animated movie, might as well use the real deal. But, again, marketing-wise, it's better to go with Chris Pratt. It's what's going to sell more tickets, I guess, even though Mario on its own is a big enough name that you really don't need Chris Pratt to sell people on the movie. Alongside that, we got Cranky Kong, Fred Armisen, Kamek, Spike, and, a variety of other actors who are going to portray a number of other characters. Then they showed off more Splatoon 3. It's just more Splatoon, It's the same familiar formula, same engine, but just more of it with some new features for sure, like this grappling hook maneuver that you can do, new modes, new weapons. I'm pumped for this. I love Splatoon. It's one of the most fun shooters. It's super creative and a really cool take on it, involving territory through paint that you have to spread throughout the arena, which gives you faster mobility and advantages, and this is just a welcome sight amongst Nintendo fans and amongst fans of this series that's proven to be pretty successful for Nintendo. And then for the big finale, a game many of us have been waiting a long time to actually finally see in tangible form, Bayonetta 3, folks. That's how they close things off. A strong way to close off a showcase. And it's definitely got something different going on stylistically. A little bit, it's just a bit more colorful, and Bayonetta's got a new look. She's got the Cereza look. If you're familiar with the Bayonetta lore, you know what I mean by that, with the hair on both sides falling down with the red highlights. People are wondering, with different timelines and whatnot involved in the story, whether this is Cereza grown up, or is this just Bayonetta, the Bayonetta that we know, boasting a Cereza look. Whatever the case might be, the gameplay looks as bombastic as you'd expect from Platinum. The action looks smooth, the levels, the monster designs, the set pieces, the moves and maneuvers and abilities. It all looks pretty crazy. Bayonetta's a lot more, like, dancey in this one. Like, anytime she does anything, like special moves, even just regular attacks at all, it just looks like she's just vibing real hard. But this is what Bayonetta is. It's outlandish. It's way out there. This is what people would expect out of this series, and yeah, there's a lot going on. And there's like kaiju battles that you get to partake in. Yeah, this I'm excited for. But yeah, you can see she's just always dancing as she summons her own kaijus to battle giant enemy crabs and whatever it might be. But I'm pumped. Hell yes. This is it, Chief. This is it. It's just good to hear from this game again, to see that it's real. Oh, right, we got this character here that some people thought maybe it's like a Devil May Cry crossover. Is this Virgil or something? But no, I don't know. That doesn't seem like what they're going for. I think it's just either a new character or an iteration of a familiar character. But I don't think it's Devil May Cry related, though. If it were, that'd be a nice surprise. But the launch date is just slated for 2022. We don't know exactly when that year, which gives them ample room to decide when the game's ready to launch. I say take however long you need to take to ensure the game's as polished and as good as it can be. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is my overview of the Nintendo Direct. Based on the franchises that I'm super into, this was really strong for me. That Kirby open world game, weirdly enough, happens to be the one that I was most pumped for from what I saw in this particular showcase. Metroid Dread's coming out soon, though. I'm pretty excited for that, too. Bayonetta 3 is one that I'm definitely going to check out. The announcement of a new Monster Hunter Rise expansion is definitely going to get me to go back to that game and catch up to all of the updates that have released since launch, and I can't wait for that one. Splatoon 3, it's been a bit since I've played Splatoon, but definitely in the mood to dive back in with a third new game. And of course, the Mario movie. They definitely achieved the goal of raising people's eyebrows and catching their interest. Like, when this trailer launches, people are gonna rush to see how it turned out, how Chris Pratt does Mario, how Charlie Day performs Luigi among all of these other actors. It's gonna be wild. It's a pretty wild cast, and I'm, again, not ruling them out entirely. The sidelining of Charles Martinet, while not surprising, it's typical Hollywood, it still kind of sucks, and it's a bit of a stain. An animated Mario movie is definitely something that people have been curious to see, and I hope it turns out as good as people hope it will. Hopefully, you know, there's just a solid story behind it. Hopefully the visuals look neat, and it isn't just some cash grab, but actually has something to say, and hopefully it's just fun. That's really what it needs to be. It just needs to be fun, and man, that voice cast, that's not going to leave the internet's mind for a very long time. What I will say is that this was a memorable showcase, that's for sure. But let me know in the comments below what your thoughts and opinions are on everything shown in this particular Direct. And to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.